American soccer fans, welcome to episode 170 of the USA Soccer Cast. We're bringing you everything about the U.S. national teams, the players, the leagues, and everything else that impacts the game of soccer in these United States. I'm Donald Wine. The latest application window for 2026 World Cup tickets closed earlier this week, and we're going to talk about what's next for so many of us that are trying to get these tickets. We will also continue our jersey talk after the break, but if you thought that a ton of people were trying to get tickets to the World Cup, I don't know what to tell you. You might have underestimated. I know I did. The most recent ticket application window for the World Cup closed on Tuesday morning, including for each of the federations, their allocation of tickets for teams that have made the World Cup. And FIFA released some stats about the number of applications that were received, and it's a monster number. According to FIFA, and you can take it how you want, they received over 500 million ticket requests for World Cup games. 500 million, 500 million ticket requests. We ain't getting tickets. We're not getting tickets. 500 million, that's just a staggering number. FIFA reported that they received applications from each of the 211 member countries, and the countries with the most applications in order, of course, the United States, Mexico, Canada. They were always going to lead the charge, but Mexico and the United States especially are usually at the top. Followed by Germany, England, Brazil, Spain, Portugal, Argentina, and Colombia. The most coveted matches are interesting. The number one most coveted match, Colombia versus Portugal, the game on June 27th in Miami, followed by Mexico versus South Korea, which takes place on June 18th in Guadalajara. Of course, the World Cup final is number 3, July 19th at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Number 4, the World Cup opener, Mexico versus South Korea, which takes place on June 11th in Mexico City. And number 5 is a round of 32 match that would be between the runner-up from Group K, which is either Portugal, Colombia, Uzbekistan, or the Interconfederation playoff winner between DR Congo, Jamaica, and New Caledonia. The second place team in Group K will face the second place team in Group L, which is England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. So interesting numbers there. And I like that there are matches from each of the host nations on the top 5 list. There's a couple in the United States, there's a couple in Mexico, and then there's the one round of 32 match in Toronto. And despite the demand and the high price, no game featuring the United States men's national team is on that list, except, of course, the World Cup final, if you dare to dream. But if that number of 500 million ticket requests is to be believed, that is absolutely astounding. And on top of that, if you think about it, each application, you could get up to 4 tickets per match and 40 tickets in total. It is highly unlikely that somebody put in a request for 1 ticket to 1 game. So the actual number of tickets that have been requested are in at least over 1 billion. Now, with that, I want to address a rumor that was out there over the last couple of weeks. There had been an internet rumor that 18,000 applications for World Cup tickets had been canceled. And that number was constantly changing as people were trying to say, in theory, that a ton of fans were not coming to the World Cup and that they were boycotting. The only issue is that rumor was unsourced information based on one tweet from someone who said they had contacted FIFA about canceling their tickets. But let's set the record straight with a few points. Number one, that rumor was started during this application process. So no one could have known how many applications were being canceled. Now, you could cancel an application if you wanted to. You could enter your ticket thing and say, you know what, I'm not going to this World Cup, and cancel your application. But the only way to edit your application for tickets, whether you wanted to add or subtract tickets that you wish to apply for, required you to cancel an application and resubmit. And I promise you that most of these cancellations were done for that reason. I mean, I had to do it. I made an application and said, you know what, I want to change the number of games I want to apply to, or the number of tickets for a particular game. And so I had to cancel my entire application and then restart over and resubmit an application and get a new application number. But again, this rumor starting during the application process meant no one could have known the number of cancellations before that process had been completed. And no one could know the motives behind those cancellations. Again, most of those cancellations were people resubmitting their application to edit the number of tickets they were applying to. Number two, FIFA has been very clear this whole time. Your tickets cannot be canceled or refunded. They can only be resold. Also, with this application window done, you can't pull your application anymore. So if you submitted it, you're locked in if your application is picked. And again, you might be the needle in the haystack. But if you are lucky and you get your application and they charge your credit card, you can't say, oh, sorry, I actually didn't want them anymore. You accept the tickets and then you have to try and resell them. That's the only way you can get your money back. And again, your money may be held for a long time. So again, people reacted to information that was just wrong for the sake of going viral. Finally, at the same time that these rumors are going around, FIFA had already said they had received over 20 million applications. And as I mentioned, the final number they're saying is 500 million applications. So I say all that to say this. There's a lot to be upset with FIFA about the ticket process, about the ticket prices, and about a lot of aspects of this World Cup, including what's going on in the world, what's going on in this country. But there also is going to be a metric butt ton of misinformation and misleading information surrounding this World Cup. So I just strongly urge everyone out there listening to my voice, stick with the trusted resources who are giving the most up-to-date information, not some unsourced image on Twitter or on Facebook or on Threads or whatever. And of course, stick with me. I will always keep it accurate on here about everything surrounding this World Cup. And as information changes, I will let everybody know how that changes. But the truth of the matter is people are clearly invested and interested in this World Cup. And while there is a lot that needs to be changed or improved about, again, many aspects, that interest is still there. And even if you don't believe that 500 million number, it's still a ton of people who applied. Now, with this application now closed, the window closed, what's next? So let's talk about the U.S. soccer portion of things. As I mentioned on the last episode, they have 3 different draws for their allotment of tickets. Now, the first question before all that is, how many applications did U.S. soccer receive? It's unclear, but of course, the United States was far and away the country with the most applicants, so do with that as you will. I put in a request for information on the numbers of how many applications to U.S. soccer, but did not receive a response as of this point. If that number gets released, we'll talk about it. But assume that there's a ton of people who applied for tickets. But now that that window has closed, here's what's coming. You first have the U.S. soccer supporter draw. This is for the $60 tickets to each U.S. soccer game, of which there's likely a maximum of 500 per match, and that number will fluctuate depending on the match. That draw will take place at some point before February. U.S. Soccer will then first let people know if they've won in that lottery for the $60 tickets so that they can secure payment for those tickets. Again, that will take place sometime before February. After they've done the draw for the $60 tickets with the supporters from the American Outlaws, from Bar 76, and from Sammers SC, after that's done and they inform everybody who was successful and they have their $60 tickets covered, every other application from that draw will then move on to the main insiders draws. And remember, there's one for standard members, that's the free members, and there's one for paid insiders. If you were in the supporter draw and you are a paid insider, your application, if you don't get the $60 tickets, will be moved to the paid insiders draw. If you didn't have an insider membership or you were a free member, your application will move to the standard insider draw, of which the allotment is 10% of whatever's left will go in the standard insider draw, and the other 90% will be allocated through the premium paid insiders draw. These draws will be conducted through FIFA and will be for those full price tickets at the level which you requested. So, for example, if you requested what is the equivalent of a Cat 3 ticket for the World Cup opener for the United States on June 12th at SoFi Stadium, You're going for the $1,100 ticket at that point. It's possible. Well, let me back up. So you have these tickets, and you have the full price tickets that you put in the application for, but you also were automatically entered into the $60 ticket. If you get in that lottery, in the FIFA lottery, the premium insiders draw, or the standard insiders draw, and you win, FIFA will start letting successful applicants know no earlier than February 5th. They will then start charging credit cards on February 6th, and that is supposed to run through February 23rd. So it is possible that you may learn that you won the particular lottery by seeing a charge hit your credit card. And with so many applications, it's also possible that you may have to wait beyond February 23rd. That's just, they're saying those dates, but if they really have 500 million applicants, they're going to have to go through these pretty slowly. So it's about patience. And as we get closer to February, it's going to be about watching your emails as well as your credit card statements. If you have the notifications for your credit card hit your phone and you see a big one, that's what it is. So as they say in the Hunger Games, may the odds be ever in your favor. And it might be like playing the Powerball. But as my dad always says, you can't ball if you don't play. So for everyone out there with applications, myself included, best of luck to you. And hopefully you get the tickets that you were applying for. We're going to take a quick break. We have more jersey talk. The away jersey has now leaked, and we will discuss that jersey after this. Hey everyone, are you looking for the latest gear for your U.S. national teams, Major League Soccer, the NWSL, or any other team in the world of soccer? The USA SoccerCast has affiliate partnerships that are ready to help you out. Head to linktree.com/USA SoccerCast, where we have links to Homage, Fanatics, the MLS Store, and Breaking Team. You can get the jersey, shirt, hat, or accessory you're looking for to support your team, while also saving some money and helping this show in the process. Again, linktree.com/USA SoccerCast. Click on the links and get your gear. And we thank you as always for your support of the show. We are back, and as I mentioned right before the break, we're going into Jersey Talk, and we have another leak. This was earlier this week, late last week. Footy Headlines has once again leaked a design that is purportedly the 2026 away jersey for the men and women of the United States. And it is a deep, deep dark navy offering that will greatly contrast with the home jersey, which again is the undulating hoops that kind of mimic a waving U.S. flag. And Nike has wanted to kind of encapsulate the sheer iconicism, if you will. I probably made that word up, but I don't care. The iconicism that was the 1994 World Cup, and that stems around the away jersey for that World Cup, which are affectionately known as the denim jerseys. They're considered one of the most popular jerseys in American soccer history. Probably second next to the Waldos, if you think about the popularity of that jersey and just what the nostalgia that it brings for it. The only catch is those jerseys were made by Adidas back then. They were U.S. Soccer's kit manufacturer back in 1994, so a direct copy isn't something that Nike can do. So they have to figure out a way to capture that nostalgia in a new jersey. So they've done a jersey, apparently, that is a midnight blue jersey with a subtle star pattern across the front. It's more sublimated, if you will. The U.S. Soccer crest is on the left chest and is all metallic silver with midnight gray details. And the Nike swoosh is also in that same kind of metallic silver. There also seems to be a slight red line that flows from the mid-shoulder area around to the back of the jersey. We do not, at least at this point, have pictures of what the back looks like. But it's a very minimalist look compared to the home jersey that has been reported. So it's more minimalist, more muted, but you still get that vibe of the stars And both the home and away jerseys would be worn, of course, by the U.S. men's national team and the women's national team in 2026 once they were released. But this will be prominent, obviously, for the World Cup when it kicks off in June. The home jersey is one that the United States would seek to wear almost every match. But in those opportunities where there could necessarily need to be a change, if for some reason they face a team that is also red, white, and blue and wears white or wears red, they're going to have this changed jersey. And so you might see this away jersey in the World Cup for a match. Now, you can look at this, obviously, at Footy Headlines. We have an article at Stars and Stripes FC about the away jersey. And I just want to say quickly, I think these are fine. I, of course, love the home jersey far more. That is my wheelhouse. But it's hard to duplicate an icon that the denim jersey provides. And with Nike not being able to get us close to that, they opted for something that complements yet provides a different style to the undulating hoops that the home jersey reportedly has. So you still have that, Stars and Stripes theme. Of course, Stars and Stripes FC, I'm the manager there. I love that. But they're creating this theme for a World Cup on home soil. I personally would have wanted the stars to be more pronounced. I mean, you can have them on there. I would put 50 all around the jersey to represent the flag and figure out how to have the back where there's still that space that's required by FIFA to put the name and number. But I think this right here allows for the minimalist sublimated stars to be all over and not necessarily affect the look of the jersey when you put the numbers on. So I imagine that the jersey is going to be paired with that same midnight navy. They call it obsidian at Nike, navy shorts, maybe some Nike socks. But I hope that with the red line that's kind of there, I'm hoping that means that we see some red socks to kind of break up the monochromatic look. As I mentioned, there's an article in Stars and Stripes FC on both the rumored away jersey and the rumored home jersey for 2026. Please go on there, comment, let us know what you think of them. Comment under the posts for this on social media, of course, on Blue Sky or Twitter. And of course, check out our stimulus store where we have our own hoops, both the standard Waldos and the undulating hoops. It's like I had prepared for this day for many, many years because I did. I knew this day would come that we would have this sort of jersey come back out, and I wanted everyone to be ready because I like the idea of having multiple looks of a Waldo jersey in the stands, but everybody having it and kind of, again, creating that jersey identity that a lot of us have craved for so long. So head to the stimulus store. You can get those jerseys right now. We want everyone to be ready to represent for the World Cup. This will keep you ready. And then, of course, the U.S. soccer jerseys are expected to debut in March. So we'll be ready for that. But let us know what you think of all the jerseys and what the U.S. will be wearing in 2026. That will do it for episode 170 of the USA Soccer Cast. Thank you for listening. Remember, you can find us on Blue Sky, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow us on all of those sites at USA Soccer Cast. Subscribe, rate, and review our shows. It helps us get in front of new people, and it's greatly appreciated. Tell your friends about us. And then finally, head to linktree.com/USA Soccercast to check out our affiliate links and, again, our stimulus store. We have everything you need to watch the beautiful game and follow your teams. And using those links also helps support the show. We'll talk to you again soon, y'all. Peace.